This episode of the Inside Running Podcast is brought to you by Brooks. You can feel confident wearing Brooks knowing they're running specialists with over 100 years experience in the footwear game. They test running insights and biomechanics with runners of every size, strength and experience to develop premium running products so you can run further, faster and happier.
Being skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place? Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking.
Welcome to episode number 211 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. Big show coming at you. We've got Tom Canto joining us shortly to talk about his experiences as the winner of both the Melbourne Full Marathon and the Melbourne Half Marathon. We've got a few of the usual segments, listener questions, moose on the loose, all those kind of things. And maybe a bit of an interview at the very end from Road to Nowhere last week. Welcome to my co-host up in Canberra, Bradley Croker. Welcome to you.
Thanks, Brady. How you going?
I'm going good, thanks, Brad. Yourself?
Yeah, all right. Weather's been real shit.
Oh, it's like it's winter again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's either wet or it's windy. So
yeah, and cold.
But I haven't mentioned it on my Strava.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean it's normal then?
Yeah.
You mean it's normal weather?
I don't know if this is normal for November.
Definitely not.
I reckon November's always a shit month.
We're forecasted to have 0 degrees overnight, which I heard would be like our coldest morning in like half a century or something.
Yeah, that's fresh.
Yeah. Good running weather, that.
It is good. It is good running weather as long as it's not windy.
That's it. My other co-host down in Anglesea, Surf Coast Track Club member Julian Spence. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, mate.
How are you going?
I'm going pretty good.
That's good.
Pretty good.
Good.
Feeling like a runner again.
Are ya?
Yeah, I did. I joined the group yesterday, which is like the first sign that you're sort of halfway healthy when you join the long run group.
Yeah, that's what you want. Join the whole way or like just some of the way?
Oh, well, I did the loop, but I made the loop to suit me. So the loop master made a 90-minute loop, but most people added on afterwards, just not me.
90 minutes or so, though. Tell us about your week leading into that. None of it's on Strava, so we wouldn't know.
No, one thing was.
Got to come back soon, I think, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I'll chuck some stuff up every now and then. I honestly, since the lockdown from like 6 months ago, it's just set to private, and I go and change things. I have to go and change
yours
everything.
Is default private.
Yeah, and so it's actually easier just for me not to do that right now, but I will start putting stuff up, especially when I run with other people. Just so
and when it looks good.
Yeah,
and when I get and when I beat other people, I'll put it up. And when I think I've got a course record or a king of the mountain, I'll put it up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Take us
or
through.
I've got a good So Mondays are always they're still my day off running anyway. So in the afternoon went to the gym and did 10 by a minute hard, minute easy on the elliptical. Next day I did a workout. I actually saw the osteo. I had a tight back for probably a week before this. And then I went and saw the osteo on the Monday, and he got into it pretty good, like needle and really quite aggressive stretching and some manipulations, like some cracking. And I pulled up pretty sore from it. Like I wasn't ready for that type of work. And so the next morning I did an hour, which was broken up into 20 minutes warm up, then 2 by 7 minutes at underneath threshold heart rate, 3 minutes slow jog in between, and then a 20-minute cool down. So the idea behind this was just to reintroduce some tempo running without too much stress and with a good break in between, because it's like my first sort of workout back, my proper workout anyway. It's not even a proper workout, but it was just a little step up, a little stepping stone workout. So I got up pretty early because I had like an 8 a.m. Zoom call. So I got out the door and it was just like the most magic morning. I live 200 meters from the Aynslee River, and when you look out down the end of the street, you can see the river, and there's all like steam coming off it because the air temperature is, I'm guessing I'm not very good at this stuff, but I think the air temperature is warmer than the river. I mean, colder than the river. And so there's no wind, and it was just perfectly still. It was probably, I don't know, maybe about 6 degrees or something. But the sun comes up over the hill just at the river mouth there, and it's like the perfect setting for coming out of your house at the right time anyway. And so I was pretty stoked. Like that was a good start to the day. So in the thresholds, I ran 3:23 pace for the first 7 minutes, which was 157 heart rate, and then the next rep was 3:27 at 166 heart rate. This was around the river trails, so dirt road and a little bit on an asphalt road, and then through some trails. So it was actually went better than I thought it would. I don't know why, because I didn't really feel like I was very fit, but that sort of pace heart rate combo was better than I expected. So that was an hour, 14.5k, and next day I was pretty sore. I ran 45 minutes, 10.5k. That was in Ballarat. I ran with Watto. So that was a bit quicker than what I wanted. But when you're with someone, it's hard to control the pace when you're the unfit one. You kind of just have to keep up to a degree. So this was probably a little bit faster than what I wanted. But good to catch up with Watto for a run. So he seems to got some motivation back, and he's been running with a couple of guys lining up for Melbourne Marathon, Ferg and Toby from Ballarat. So they've been getting in the hills, getting some really good Sunday long runs in, and Watto's been joining them. So to keep up with those, both those guys are flying right now. So that's a good little Sunday long run group. It's coming back. Next day, 60 minutes. I did this. I think I did this with Ali actually. We went out on the ridge track. I ran 13.1k. Did elliptical. Did a monofartlek on the elliptical in the other. And then the next day, I was supposed to do my a workout, a 200 meter workout. So just introduce fast running again, without sort of too much overload. But because my glutes and my back was still really quite sore, I changed it to do another threshold session. So the morning I woke up the Friday, I actually felt great. Like my back was really loose and my glutes weren't locked up. So the warm up felt really good, and I started to feel like a runner again, because I was like, oh, this is how running was supposed to feel. So we joined Ali and a guy called Jordan Keras. He's a footballer coaching Aynslee this year. He's a runner. Like, he runs in the off season, and he had 4x2k with 2.5 minutes jog or 500 jog, and I changed mine to 3x7 minutes threshold, 2.5 minute jogs, and so he did that. Ali did that as well. We ran along Ali's road, like the road that Ali lives on, which heads up into the bush, and then it goes uphill like one way, and then you turn around, and we came back downhill. But I did 2 reps uphill, 1 hill downhill. So the paces were 320 and 159 heart rate, 325, 171, and 315, 172, which was downhill. So again, good to finish a workout without being sore or anything like that. And then I went and picked up the Zero Runner. So I hired a truck, went up to the gym warehouse place, picked up the Zero Runner, which is that like elliptical thing that I got, brought it home, basically unloaded it by myself. It's 200 kilos. So it was fucking hard work, dangerous as well, trying to get this thing off the hydraulic lift. Baby started crying, so Bree went inside. So I spent like an hour trying to maneuver it around myself and eventually got it off, got on it, spent 20 minutes on it. I woke up the next day, jumped on the treadmill. I had some sort of soreish quads, but I attributed that to the workout, especially the downhill rep. And then, so I just did a treadmill workout, felt okay, but had sore quads. That afternoon, I did 30 minutes on the Zero Runner. And that night, my quads were killing me. Next day, woke up, started the long run, felt like someone had beaten my legs with a hammer. That's how sore the front of my quads were, right up the top. Like, the only other time I've felt like this is after a marathon, or after a day when you like run down a mountain, like if you've done a mountain run like Bogong or something. And I had no idea what it was. And then Bree said, yeah, my quads are really sore too. And she used the Zero Runner. So I shot a message to Lee, who has a Zero Runner as well, and he's like, oh yeah, my quads got smashed when I first got that thing. So there's something about like the angle and how it uses your hip flexors and your quads that smashed me. And today, I can barely operate. My quads are so sore. And it sucks when your cross-training machine that's designed to sort of help you not get injured injures you. Or not injures you, but stops you from running as much as you want just because, loads you different.
Could be making you stronger, Moose.
That's the positive thing I'm looking at.
Maybe it's a good pain. It's like weakness leaving the body.
Yeah, well, I'm just hoping that this is the sort of stuff that, like, down the track, these sort of muscle strength might help you at the back end of a marathon or something. Maybe. Gee, I'm clutching, but I'll take it. Anyway, I did 82K for the week and felt like it was a structured week again. 2 workouts and a long run.
First race back penciled in, Moose?
No, I don't have anything penciled in.
You're looking around now, though, won't you? Starting to sniff something out?
Well, I want to get safely through the rebuild. Okay, I want to get workouts in that lead me into something where I can handle a race effort. So I'm thinking like there's a few fun runs down here over summer. So late December, which I'll jump into, I think. So like they always have them. The Sunday, it's like a summer series, Mountain to Surf, Rip to River. There's a Dawn Busters, the Roo Run, Bell's Bash. Like they're all local. Then a lot of them are surf club run. And so they get timed with an ocean swim on the next day or the same day. Like Rip to River there's a swim out there like the I don't even know what it is. And then the pier to pub is the same weekend as the what's that one called? What's the lawn one called?
Mountain to Surf, isn't it?
Mountain to Surf, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez, so Surfer Boys doesn't even know what they're called down there, Croaks.
There's like fucking 18 of them.
The locals should know that kind of stuff.
No, he's been out of town for too long. In Ballarat.
Ballarat boy now.
It's a good win at Mountain to Surf.
Yeah,
some
remember
good
that
names
year
have won that.
Andy smoked up Collis? Remember that year?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was a big upset.
That's probably the best race of his life, I reckon.
It's a big scalp to take. Have you ever won it? Or Nick Whiteman beat you?
Nah, I never won it. No, I come fourth one year.
Fourth?
It went, first was Matt, what was his name? Gunn. He was
used to run for Knox.
Yeah.
Matt
Bailey, yep. So Matt Bailey won it on he was come back, he was at college at the time, and he'd come back and won, and he beat Kane Willie.
Oh, yeah.
And third place was Nath Hardikin, and I was fourth. And fifth was Jimmy Addard, I think. It was a good year. Like, it was a solid year but you've got guys there every year who are top 3 AV runners normally. Even though it's like the prizes are shit and everything, but it's still just a bit of prestige about that one. Whereas the other ones, they're normally easy to to go well at, because no one shows up to them.
Yeah, but that was like a 2:24 moose racing those guys back then. You'd smoke all those guys now.
Fuck that, no way.
Yeah, you
Not
would.
over like
What is
Matt
it, 12.5
Bailey.
K on the hills?
No, it's like
Kane
7
Willie,
and a
what were
half.
his PBs? I don't think their PBs were that good. It's just that you were a bit slower that you think their PBs were better.
I always remember them as being good
Yeah,
runners.
I don't think they would have held 3-minute Ks on that course.
Yeah,
But it
it's
is pretty
deceptive
hilly,
because
yeah. I
the
don't know the
results.
course.
Well, the results are based off 8K, right? So you look at it and go, oh, 24 minutes. Geez, he's run 3-minute Ks, but the course is like 7.4K. So it's not actually 8. So all the times look way better than what their actual paces are that they've run. Just
Yeah.
as a heads up.
Yeah, it's real. There's a big hill to start, isn't there?
Massive hill, super steep, and then it rolls, and then it's a real long downhill, and then you actually run on single track for a bit where you can't pass anyone. So if you're running along and you can't pass, like you have to be kind of towards the front of the field when you hit that single track, and then you run back, you get spat out down at I think it's St George's River maybe, and then you run along the highway at the side of the Goshen Road for a bit, and then drop down at the pier at Lawn and run on the path into Lawn, and you finish at the surf club. It's a cool course. Like it's a cross country race basically. So the good cross country runners do well there.
Yeah.
They reckon Mona's time there, I don't know what it was, but it's just exceptional. Like when it was world class.
He's got a few of those, doesn't he? Like that Nail Can Hill as well in Auburn.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
reckon there's a couple of local fun runs, the Lap of the Lake, that are like never ever going to get touched.
Yep, exactly. I think this one's one of them, Mona's one. Andy may have been the closest that anyone's
yeah.
come.
Sounds like a cross-country runner's kind of course.
Yeah,
It's Andy
yeah,
for
well,
you.
he's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's right.
Very good. Croaks, your week?
Yep, it was okay. Not great after Sunday, but so Monday I pulled up pretty well actually after my 35.5K on Sunday. So I did an hour at 4:09s around Mulligans, and then Tuesday we had our group session out at Stromlo. So this was the first time I've been at Stromlo since like August. And yes, the session was 6 by 3 minutes off a minute jog. And then I took about 3 minutes recovery after that, and then did 5 sort of 30-second hills. Like it was like Stromlo's tough. Like it's one of those sessions out there where it never actually looks that good on paper, but you know you're working pretty hard. Like I was starting and stopping from different points around the course, so all I had to go off was GPS, and I didn't really look at my watch during the session at all. But according to GPS, I was like between 3:15s and 3:20s for the 3-minute reps, jogging sort of 4:10s to 4:15s, but like it was a much harder session than the week before on the track when I was running 67s to 400s and probably 3:07 pace for 800s. Like that felt way easier than 3:15s to 3:20s out on the grass. But that being said, like it makes you so strong, and it sort of makes me realise like when I'm doing that session, when you feel good out at Stromlo, you know you're fit. Whereas you can sort of get away with things on the track, whereas you get found out on the cross country course. But yeah, it was a good enough session. One of those things that doesn't look great on paper, but it was certainly a solid workout. Then Wednesday morning, got out for my midweek long run, 90 minutes, 4:11s, and then Thursday afternoon was when the weather started to turn. So we headed out to Mulligans, and it started to rain just as I was out there running. But it was actually quite enjoyable because it was quite warm during the day. So those runs where it's been hot during the day, but then the change comes through. You sort of shirts off, bit of light rain, just cools you down a little bit. So did 45 minutes, 4:13s, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weather was shit. I put the treadmill together earlier in the week, so it was ready to go on Tuesday, and so I thought Friday would be the good opportunity to test it out given the weather. So did my warm up, and then just did a 9k tempo on it. So just set it to 17k an hour, and found it was all right. Like I still don't know why it is, but heart rate on the treadmill is about right, or probably is a bit lower than what I would expect outside. But my perceived effort in terms of how fast my legs are moving always seems way faster. So, for example, I ran 9K at 3:32s on the treadmill. For the first 10 minutes, I felt like I was running 3:10s. Like I felt like I was sprinting, even though my heart rate wasn't super high. And then after about probably 15, 20 minutes, I started to find like the sweet spot where I was sort of on top of the rhythm. And then, it sort of got easier the longer it went. So I think I averaged, let me just open it up. Averaged 160 heart rate, maxed out at 164. So it was good. Like it was comfortably hard. Did another sort of 5K cool down. And then that afternoon jumped on the treadmill again just for another easy sort of 7 and a bit K. Then Saturday it pissed down rain. So I went out. I didn't want to run because I did like 26K on the treadmill or something on Friday. I didn't want to do another hour on the treadmill Saturday morning. So I went out in the rain and, there was a fair few puddles out at Mulligan's. Did an hour at 4:18s. And then Sunday, I wasn't really sure where I was going to run because I knew Mulligan's was going to be pretty flooded and it was super windy. So I always hate running from home on these days because it's quite exposed coming back from, wherever I go. But ran from home out towards Mulligan's, thinking I could do maybe the main trail that wouldn't be super flooded. But I don't know if you remember, Brady, but where we started, you go up that hill, about the first kilometre.
Big hill, yep.
Yeah, and about halfway up that hill, there's a dam on the right-hand side. And I've only ever seen the path flooded there once, ever. And I got to there and, it was completely flooded. So, we've had so much rain over, I guess, a long period of time now. So I turned around at that point, which was probably 3K earlier than I thought. And at about that point, I noticed my tib ant was just a little bit sort of angry. And this is the one injury, it's probably been the most common injury I've had over 20 years. And I ran through it a few times when I was younger and it set me back big time. Whereas the last 5, 6, 7 years, I get it every now and then, but I've been able to really catch it early, take one day off, and and it's 100%. But the problem is it's a real fine line. Sometimes it's, if I run for an extra 40 minutes on it, that's the difference between 1 day off and a week. But I was 7K from home, and it's it wasn't super painful that I'm no, I need to actually stop. So I ran home, but I cut my long run short. So I just did 90 minutes, or 93 minutes, 22K at 4:14s. It wasn't super sore while I was running, but I knew that it was definitely at the point where if I ran for 2 hours, I'd probably be missing a week's running. Whereas if I stop at 1 hour 30, then probably a day off and I'll be okay. So, so that was my week. Got through 127K. I didn't run today, but it's already feeling a fair bit better, just iced and inflamed. Did some sort of stretches, bit of massage through my tib ant, and I'll either take tomorrow off as well. I'll probably just test it in the morning, just jump on the treadmill. If it's no good, I'll take another day or two off, and so that's my week.
Yeah, good work getting straight onto that. I did see the 90 minutes and thought maybe it was just a bit of a planned down week. I didn't think too much about it, that it might have been cut short due to a niggle.
Yeah, I planned to do 2 hours, but I've had 3 pretty solid long runs in a row. So it doesn't bother me cutting at 90 minutes. It's more, this is the one injury that I know I can't run through. If I get tib post, I can manage that and run through it, and it gets better over the space of a few days. But if I was to run, if I ran again today, it gets to the point where I think, 2007, I ran through this a lot, and I ended up missing 3 or 4 weeks with it. So I think, it'll be a day or two, and I'll be fine.
I love how you can call back stuff in 2007.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
I remember.
Going.
Well, I just remember it was I remember being so pissed off at myself for running through it. for that long, and just missing so much running. So, and I think that's one advantage, I suppose, of being in the game for so long, is you learn to sort of read your body a bit and know which things you can get away with and which ones you actually need to really respect and go, no, I can't run through this one.
Yeah. Hey, this is the part of the show where I ask you to try to talk into doing something at Melbourne. Got a few things have come into the inbox during the week. Are you happy to hear them?
Yeah, all right.
First one's from Jamie. Hi, Brady. Do you think Bradley would be motivated to race if he ran for a charity that he cares about? Does any of us have anything there, Croaks? Maybe if you raise some money. The last podcast where he ran for mental health suggested that. I'm sure some of the Inside Running podcast community would donate to see Croaks race more. And the faster he goes, the more money he raises. Just a thought. Thanks, Jamie.
Charity runner.
Yeah. Could you see you maybe doing something for charity at Melbourne, Croaks? Could that be an option?
Probably not, no.
Okay, that doesn't motivate him there, but thank you, Jamie.
It's not that I'm against charities, but no, that's not going to get me up and about.
Second one comes in from Adam. Would Bradley consider maybe pacing Brady through the first 30k at Melbourne? rack up some good bloke points. I agree with you, Adam.
You reckon he could do that?
Moose 30K? Has done it for me. I've done it for Moose. Croaks has thrown
reckon...
himself on the coals for plenty of females up at the Gold Coast. Moose, help out a mate. Yeah. Help out a mate. Get us to 30, 35.
It'd be a good weekend if he comes down.
Wouldn't it? Have a few beers afterwards.
Yeah. No, I'm happy not to get the good bloke points.
25k, Croaks? Can you get 25?
Probably not.
Okay.
You could. You could if Brady was next to you.
At that pace, I'll be behind
if
him.
Brady was next to me, I'd probably finish it.
Yeah, exactly. Last one. This is a longer one. This one. Hey, Brady, long-time listener and love the podcast. I don't really write in fan mail, but thought I'd write in after hearing my name mentioned in last week's episode at the end of Brad's week. I will be competing in this year's Melbourne Marathon 10k event, and if you're looking for Brad to have an enemy of the show to compete against, I'd be more than happy to be this person. There is no love lost between Brad and I after we had an Instagram comment altercation after the Saigon #1 event in 2019, and I'd really enjoy the challenge of racing him next month. This is from Croaks?
No.
Okay.
I remember.
I can't remember.
Like
Still going. It's very documented.
I like this.
I think this would be a great match-up as our 5k PBs are very similar, 14:18 mine and 14:20 to his, and my 10k PB is just a tad quicker than his, but obviously he has the half marathon and marathon strength behind him. The point needs to be made that a 10k road race is a long way for a 1500 metre athlete like myself, and Brad would surely start favourite. I'm looking forward to hearing that he has accepted the invitation and seeing him on the streets of Melbourne on race day. Good luck to you for the last few weeks of your marathon preparation. Kind regards, Jordan Williams.
Oh, this is...
You on, Croaks?
Surely you wrote that.
Are you on? It came to my inbox from an email account that I'm surprised that this person forwarded it from him.
Will
you accept this, Croaks?
I know it's not Jordan Williams.
Well, yeah, because there's no way he's going to go to that effort.
No, because he said he doesn't normally write fan mail, but he seems like the kind of bloke who would write heaps of fan mail.
Look, there could be. I don't know. It just came over my desk today.
And he's run way faster than that over 5k.
2 seconds. I actually looked up his world profile when I seen that email going, he's quicker than that, 14:18.
He's probably paced Zatopek faster than that.
We're talking about official races, mate. I've done time trials quicker than my PBs and I don't claim them.
Oh, yeah.
So officially, that's what he's on. So can we consider that one maybe? He's thrown out a challenge. I reckon you could take him too. I nearly got him.
Did you get in an altercation with him?
Yeah, remember he called him out on those because remember Williams went for the individual win at Steigen #1, not the team win, and then Croaks called him out in some comments. Yeah, it didn't end well.
Really?
Yeah, they started fuming in the comments at each other.
No,
Croak had 10 beers as well. He was at the Melbourne Bowling Club singing beers, and he goes, "I'm just going to let loose here."
I still haven't got over him out kicking me at Noosa Bolt for $500. So
round two. This is on. All right, Jordan. Challenge accepted. See you in 4 weeks, mate.
I reckon we could get the funds to get him down here because he's a massive tight ass. Brad. That's probably a big reason why
he does not need the funds.
I know.
He can sit in the car for 6 hours, free accommodation at my place, and then we'll go split accommodation in Melbourne.
Why would Geordie Williams want to race an old guy like me? What satisfaction is he going to get out of beating me?
Gets his name on the profile. Next couple of weeks we'll talk about him on the podcast. I like it, Jordan. Thanks for sending in some fan mail, mate. Really appreciate it. You guys want to hear my week? I'm going to whip through this, okay? Because we got a big dog guest coming on, Tom DeCanto. You ready? Hold on to your hats because I'm going fast. Monday, 60 minutes easy, 4:41s. 7k in the afternoon, 4:47s. Bit of DOMs in the legs, fellas, because I did that mountain race the day before, remember? Not used to the hills. Yeah, do you want me to recap a bit more of it? Did you hear enough last week? Tuesday, 17k in the morning, 4:32s. 8k in the afternoon, 4:32s. Another daily double. Yeah, unbelievable. But feeling less DOMs, so that was good to get a couple of 4:32 runs out. Wednesday was the workout, Kenyan fartlek. 20 by 2 minutes at about 3:07, 3:08 pace. 1 minute float, about 3:30, 3:35 pace. Times 20, did I say that? Maybe. That equals 60 minutes. So it was good. It was a good workout. I've only done this workout once before for the 60 minutes when I was building for Rotterdam. And I remember afterwards, like, I was cooked like 3/4 of the way through it last time, and just I think I underestimated how hard this workout was the first time I did it. So I kind of adjusted the pace a bit and was a bit more settled on this one. I think last time I was maybe trying to hit like 3:03s, 3:05s for the 2 minutes, but I just eased things off a bit. I wanted to kind of finish it with no worries at all and be kind of like super consistent, which it was. Archie did the first 14 reps with me, so it was good just to swap the reps around for the first. I think we took one each for the first 10, and then maybe he took the last 4. And then I had the last 6 solo. But yeah, really good workout. Felt strong. 18.5k at 3:14 pace. 7k in the afternoon, 4:39s, listening to Road to Nowhere. Thursday, like a true recovery day. 8k in the morning at 4:37s, 10k in the afternoon at 4:39s. Friday, this is when the rain hit. And yeah, I did 90 minutes, pretty much got wet from the word go, and just like cold and all your t-shirts kind of sticking to you and just miserable, just sleet in the air. It wasn't fun at all. I did listen though to the Daniel Johns podcast, and I was maybe a bit harsh on that early days when I first started listening to that a couple of weeks ago. It's actually quite a good listen, so I've been enjoying listening to that kind of documentary style podcast. And then got out in the rain again on Friday afternoon at 4:27s. Saturday morning, 80 minutes, so 17.8k. Listen to the Molly Seidel interview on the Sidious Mag podcast. That got me through that one. Average 4:30. And then the afternoon, 7k, 4:30 again, boys. So 2 daily doubles in the 1 week, which is pretty rare because I think I probably won't hit another one now for 5 or 6 years. And a few people like sliding into my DMs. I had one listener, Jacinta. She was telling me she went on 4 recovery runs last week, fellas, and she averaged the same pace, 4:46, on every single one of them. There's got to be something in that, doesn't there?
Without trying to.
No, yeah. So this is all without trying. Like, if people have been going, oh yeah, but you look at your pace. I'm like, I do not. I swear on Hudson's life, I don't look at the pace when I do this. It is just completely random. And then, yeah, Jacinta was the same. She runs with stopwatch face on and then checks at the end. All the same pace. So I don't know.
How many runs? 5 of them?
4.
4
last week. All recovery runs. You know, things that might have been a 30-minute recovery or 60 or 50 or 70 or whatever.
Yeah,
and all of them land on
difficult.
4:46. Yep.
Just to not even get a 1 second off?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe something's going on with Coros or Strava or something like that. But yeah, something's happening.
I pretty much run 4:10s for all my easy runs.
Do you?
So don't look. Well, I pretty much run the same pace within a second
you
or
have,
2
you
average.
You have 1k splits on, don't you?
I have them on, but
yeah,
I don't
no,
really
that
pay
doesn't
attention.
count. Doesn't count. And then Sunday did 30k at 4-minute pace, and then changed shoes, and then we did 3 sets of 2k in about 3:10 pace, so like 6:20. 2 minutes jog, 1k at 3:05, 90 seconds jog. And this was a good one as well. Just I like these ones. I find these the easiest of the marathon, like longer run kind of workout sessions, just because mentally, like the 30k at 4-minute pace doesn't cause me any troubles because it's like flat and like good surface, and like once you lock into that 3:55 4-minute pace, feels pretty smooth. And then it's almost like I reset when I change the shoes and start the workout, and like the workout's a 9k workout, but when you just look at 9k workout by itself, it doesn't cause too much stress at all. And then it's not until you look at your watch at the end that you've kind of covered. I think we started the last 1k rep at 39.5k, and then you start maybe overthinking it a bit. You're like, oh, this is a big workout, and hitting a few k's here. So it was 43k in total. at 3:49, which is the longest I'll go in this build-up. I'll start getting a bit more specific in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however many weeks I've got, 4 weeks. So that was a big week, 193, my third week in a row, over 190, and feeling good, feeling fresh. Just looking
What's he going to run, Moose? He's pumping out some big sessions.
Yeah, he is.
Nice workouts.
And I think he's been nice and controlled with them as well. So he's not he's a different man now, isn't he, Brad? We're not seeing him get carried away, and maybe it's because he's still got
still got 3 weeks, fellas. Don't get ahead of yourselves.
Yeah.
But no, thank you. It's because now I've got to tell people not to get carried away.
Yeah, you've got a couple of little apprentices underneath you, and you have to be a good example for them.
Don't want to make the same mistakes I've had in the past.
Yeah. I've been impressed, the last, I don't know, probably 12, 18 months. You've definitely slowed down, your recovery days, to the point you don't even give a shit about them, which is good. How's your body? Because it's I noticed, the last 3 weeks, it's pretty much been, consistent high mileage, whereas I know, some people... will have one real high week and then maybe back it off a little bit and then go high again. But you've pretty much been 190 plus for 3 weeks in a row now, and I'm guessing this week will be the same. No,
this week's 160, so I'm going down this week. But yeah, I didn't actually have 190 in my program to try and hit. It was just more how's the body feel, and can I push some of those 30-minute PM runs to instead of being 6.5K, get them out to 8 or 9K. But you got to remember these, the Sundays, a bigger workout, and the Wednesday, and I've also alternated, so I do a longer fartlek 1 week, and then the next week I'll go back. Remember when I did mono fartlek the week before, so I'll do some swaps there. But the body's really good. I got a blood test today just to check my iron after that infusion, just to more probably placebo, just to know that it's going to be good. And then body's feeling good. Life's a bit stressful though. I was telling you guys off air before, we've got this COVID situation hitting schools and
COVID situation. Yeah, no one's had that in their life yet.
It's like this pandemic thing. Well, it's the first time it's kind of, so for me, if a kid in my class tests positive, I have to do 7 days of isolation. So if that was to happen on Melbourne, I could be in Melbourne on the Saturday night pre-race and could get a phone call from my boss saying, hey, a kid from your class tested positive as of yesterday, you got 7 days and you can't race. And it's just, I love being in, or even if it happened next week, it's we can't train for a week. You got to get a treadmill or try and figure stuff like that. And I just like being in, it feels like I've got 25 kids, so I can't control where those 25 kids go outside of school or who they socialise with or what they do. And it's it just put me a bit on edge that something like that could come up the next, couple of days. Half of Carly's school, the teachers are doing that at the moment because half their school are at home, isolating. So that's just something to think about that I don't really want to be thinking about very much.
What's your big workout this week?
I am doing well. I was also telling you guys off air that I'm trying to get access to a track on Wednesday to do a bit of a track workout, do some faster fours. And then I am finally going to do that Matt Clouse session that I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. Why didn't you pull me up on that last week, you fellas? Because that Clousey session, mile under, mile over, is pretty much identical to Kenyan fartlek. And I was thinking of doing that Sunday and the Kenyan fartlek Wednesday, and it wasn't until I looked at my program, I'm why have you got these two on the same week? They're pretty much the same workout.
What, a minute versus a mile?
Well, one's
way different.
One's 24K, the other one's, they'll come out at the same average pace. Because I was working on a mile at about 3:10 and a mile at about 3:25, which will come out about that 3:15, 3:16 average, which is kind of what the Kenyan fartlek come out for. But one
it doesn't matter what your average is.
Oh no, you're just working the same. Working at 3:08 pace is the same as working at 3:10 pace, I reckon.
Well, so your minutes would be faster than 3:10 pace.
No, it was 2 minutes. 2 minutes. The Kenyan fartlek 3:07.
Yeah, but even then, holding it for 2 minutes versus over 5 is different.
Yeah, but then you're holding the recovery for 5 instead of 1. I just thought they were too similar to have in the same week. You know what I mean? I think they're touching the same system.
So mile on, mile off.
Sunday, yeah, that's the answer to the question.
Are you going to do any longer reps at marathon pace during this build?
I might do 3x5K on a Wednesday, about 18 days out. The 2 weeks out will be the 2 weeks out would be the Sunday of that week.
I still think there's some value in that.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't really done that. Everything's been real short. Like, and I still think even just it's a completely different rhythm, and you want to sort of mentally train that, like being in a bit of a grind for a bit longer.
Yeah. Do you think, and then Moose, you originally had the 3x7K in my Rotterdam plan. I'm just trying to get some free coaching advice here. How late, and this is a good question for a lot of marathons out there who are training for Melbourne, how long out would you do your last specific workout, what you guys are kind of talking about now, where you're trying to really dial into your race pace?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Three weeks as the max. Like, you wouldn't want it to be any closer than 3 weeks in my mind.
Mm-hmm. And you'd kind of look at maybe 20k worth of work there.
Yeah, well, that's different. That's
Yeah.
not answerable. But like 3x7K, that's normally something that you've built up to.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty solid workout in my mind. Some people might not think so, but I always found that like a big accomplishment to get through, because it was almost the top of the progression plan or the train.
Yeah.
And so after that, you're like, okay, race next. The next progression is race.
The focus now turns to getting the start line fresh. Like, don't worry about trying to gain fitness from there.
Yeah, exactly. But that was 3 weeks out. So this week, like a couple of the guys who haven't done much specific work, they're in the same boat as you, they're going to do a Sunday specific run. And it won't be like long reps at marathon pace. I think that's too hard to jump into if you haven't done any sort of progressive work into it. It'll be more like a long run that the long run that you did a few weeks ago that progresses down 10.
Oh yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. So they can build into it, and it gives them a chance to use feel rather than pace as well.
Yeah.
And they hit their marathon pace. They hit their marathon feel at the end, which can often be marathon pace in those workouts, because it's a nice adrenaline building workout. As you get faster, you get more excited, don't you?
Yeah, and it's probably the only one I've done that you feel what the marathon feels like post 30k.
Yeah.
You know, when you're starting to hit the 2x2k reps at the end, you're like, okay, this is post 30k feels here. Whereas I don't think I've felt that in any other workouts in this build-up, maybe.
Yeah, and you can only get to that point a couple of times in a build-up. Yeah. Because that's a pretty taxing place to be.
Mm.
Yeah.
The other one's the 28 to like 30. I think you had me maybe do 34k at 95%. That's like, because you're working 95% and you're tired, you're in the middle of the block, that's also the other one where you start getting a bit wobbly here.
That's to me, that's an easier workout though than 3x7k. I
really?
think that depends on what sort of athlete you are.
Yeah, exactly. And what you like upstairs mentally, like how you can concentrate and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's my weaknesses. So with thanks to the Nike Melbourne Marathon Festival, we are delighted to bring you part 4 of our special series as we build towards the Nike Melbourne Marathon Festival, just 4 weeks away. Just a reminder that November 21 is the cut-off date for entries. Runners must register by 11:59pm this Sunday, or they won't be able to race. You'll miss out. Be sure to jump on melbournemarathon.com.au to secure your spot. And thanks to the Melbourne Nike Marathon this week, we are joined by a winner of the half marathon and the full marathon, Tom DeCano. Thanks for giving up some time on your Monday evening to talk to us all things Melbourne Marathon.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
How's things in Sydney, Tom? Give us a bit of an update on training. You're going in, I heard on Shoe Geeks the other day, as the favourite for the race. So how are you dealing with that kind of pressure?
Yeah, Mike always gives me a good big pump ups, so it's good. It's going okay. It's going pretty good. It was going pretty well until this last week. Actually, I've been on holidays, and it was going to be a bit of a down week, but ended up getting a bit of a cold, which hopefully doesn't turn to man flu, but I don't think it will. I'm turning a corner. But I missed a long session and a long run. But apart from feel like he's better. So apart from that, training's been going pretty well. Probably on par with prep for Gold Coast, which never happened. So I don't actually know what shape I'm in for the marathon, but I would say pretty much on par with how I was going leading into that.
That's a good sign. And the sickness is, I suppose it's good this far out, because I think you've had 2 marathons in the past, Lake Biwa and maybe Fukuoka, where you were pretty much sick on race week leading into those 2. Is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah. My PB is still Fukuoka 2017. I reckon both of those races I was in like way better shape, but just had shockers. Both were weird in different ways, but yeah, just wasn't myself on the day for both of those.
What do you put the trend down to, Tom, of like sort of getting sick? Is it like just the stress of training, family, and work?
Yeah, I reckon it's just like the high volume that you get into towards the end of a marathon build up, and yeah, like the unpredictability of sleep patterns, like particularly with young kids, as you guys all know now. It's like, yeah, you just get some nights you don't get much sleep, and you kind of like should be fine, just push through, keep doing the training, the sessions where I probably should have pulled back on it on numerous times, but yeah, and I've paid for it a few times now.
Tom, take us back to 2016, the year you won in debut. 2:20:53. Looking at a photo of you here, sitting behind Duayoa, which looks like maybe coming back up St Kilda Road, I reckon, in a pair of shoes that probably weigh, I'm going to say a quarter of the ones that you'll be racing in this year. Take us back to getting a win at your very first marathon.
In a gale as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I got awesome memories from that race. Obviously, because it was my first road marathon. I'd run 6-foot track earlier that year. But yeah, first proper marathon, and yeah, I was just going in just wanting to have a good hit out. Wasn't really, I don't know, expecting to win. So it ended up being pretty cool, because I think I had about 8K to go or so when I made the break and made the gap and was feeling good. So I had like that last bit of the race, quite a bit of time to sort of savor the moment. So it was, it's always like if you're running a big PB or leading a race or whatever, the pain is nowhere near as much as if you're fading and not doing as well as you wanted. So although it was like towards the end of the marathon, I don't really remember it being all that painful, because yeah, it was just a good day. It was obviously an odd one because of the wind. It was kind of really odd and tactical because no one wanted to take the lead. So me and Matt Cox did a lot of the sharing of the wind out on Beach Road. And then I had the break. I made a break at like, I think it was around 32K or maybe a little bit after. You know how like the half marathoners interject the course? We had, I think it was Ben Morrow. So he was probably running 10 or 15 seconds a K faster than what we were doing at that point, and going into a headwind. So I was like, I was massively grateful for him at the end. It was like, mate, you pretty much sealed that race for me, because I just tacked on to the back of him and no one else could sort of jump on to that. So yeah, pretty
unique situation that happened. Moose and Croaks, I think you were both there that day. Tom, did you look at him on the start line and feel any like bit of intimidation or anything?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I was shaking.
Yeah.
What about Dua though? Because Dua was a class athlete. Like, he would have had a better half marathon than you at that time, and he used to win a lot of races. And he was there till obviously 32K. I know he didn't finish that day, but
yeah, I was expecting. To be honest, I was expecting him to blow past us at any point, because he was kind of just sitting on us, and I was pretty much just waiting for him to go. And so when he didn't latch on, I was like, what's going on? This is bizarre. Not only is he not going ahead, but he hasn't made the break. So I only found out at the end that he didn't finish. But yeah, I definitely would have thought he'd be he would have been the one to beat for sure.
Did you get emotional, Tom, running into the MCG? Like, 42K is a long time to be thinking about stuff, and especially having the last kind of 6 or 7K, you were saying, to savour it. Like, what was it like running into the MCG about to win? I think the prize money would have been like $20,000 back then as well. You can maybe correct me if that's wrong. Like, it must have been an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it's up there. It's just, kind of hard to describe. Like, 'cause I had my family there, like my wife, and at that point, I think our son would have been, well, he was like real young, maybe like less than a year old. My parents and stuff. Yeah, so it was just because it was unexpected, and first marathon to get the win there was hard to explain. It's probably up there with like top 3 races that I've done.
What did you spend the cash on?
I have to ask my wife Lana that. Pretty sure she commandeered that. No, I don't know. Yeah, to be honest, I don't even know. Probably paying off.
Your coach, Gary, he's expensive, I heard.
Commission, Gary. Yeah.
Who was coaching you then, Tommy?
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah,
Gary. Yeah, I think I joined Run Crew like that year or probably in March of that year, I reckon.
Hey, Tom, a lot of listeners will be doing the Melbourne Marathon in 4 weeks' time. You got any tips for them as a past winner? Any bit of inside info that they need to know about the course, or like drink stations, or when to plan your move?
Yeah, I reckon it's a good course in the fact that you can kind of break it up a bit. Like I'd probably, like, mentally it's good to, I think, segment it a bit. So I'd probably break it up in 3 parts. Like have the first part being starting from the starting point around Albert Lake and finishing kind of when you get onto beach roads. That's kind of like the first part, which you just got to be feeling like super comfortable, getting into like just that rhythm and just feeling like it's pretty easy. And then beach road is a whole other section. So you're out there on the straight, and I think when you're out there, you just got to lock into, hopefully there's people around you that you can work with and lock in, particularly if it's a bit windy, which it can get out there. So lock into a pace, try and do as little work as possible out on that part, and still feeling, I think you got to feel comfy there, because then that I'd say that final part, the last third, would be coming back off that, like coming back up St Kilda Road. You got like that's probably like the last 10k or so is probably the hardest part of the race as well. So not only have you done 30k, but then you've got the hills, probably the hilliest part of the course. So you probably need to feel pretty good, as good as you can at 30k, knowing that if you want to finish well, that you've got to have a fair bit left in the tank, particularly if people are running, I'd say, 4 hours plus for the marathon. It may get, I don't know what the weather's going to be, but obviously it may get pretty warm as well. So it's going to be hilly and warm, probably that last 10k or so. So definitely got to have a bit in the bank, bit of energy left for that last segment, I'd say.
So that old saying, what you use for the first 32k, you're going to use the same energy for the last 10k, would ring true on this course.
I never heard that before.
Haven't you?
No.
I haven't either.
First 20 miles, you should, the last 10k is as hard as the first 20 miles.
Yeah, well, I've heard the race, like the 30k mark is the halfway point. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Do you just make up your own saying and said,
try to put my own spin on
saying.
The old saying. Special
The old
travel
saying
saying.
that I made up an hour ago.
Mine sounds better, I reckon.
Tom.
Yeah.
How fast do you think you can run?
On perfect conditions, Tom. What kind of shape are you going to be in?
Like the problem is, like, I don't know who's running. I was hoping you guys could tell me.
Brett's running.
You guys got a start list?
Brett Robinson, Andy Buchanan, Ed Goddard. That's the lead pack.
Yeah.
Oh, is Liam Adams running?
Liam's not on this official list that I've got, but it wouldn't surprise me if on race week you just see Liam pop up.
There we go.
If we can work together, like, I reckon I know Ed's always up for working pretty hard and going out and sharing some pace. So I don't know, like, if the conditions are perfect, I reckon I'm in similar shape to leading into Gold Coast, which I was kind of hoping for like 2:12 something. So maybe a little bit slower in Melbourne, but because the course isn't probably quite as quick. But yeah, like a 2-minute PB is probably possible. Something like that. So like 2:14 high is my PB, so 2:14.59.
So on that, Tom, like the fact that you mentioned that Melbourne's not quite as fast as what you could run overseas, and like you're well and truly in the discussion for World Champs and Com Games next year. Decision for Melbourne over one of the overseas marathons, or you plan on going overseas as well?
Yeah, so I'm looking at going overseas early next year. So yeah, I think there was yeah, it just panned out. Like, I was actually looking at doing Valencia in December. I got an entry for it, but just the cost of it and the timing, and then the fact that I could do this local one, which I've, Melbourne, which I've had, great times at before, and the prize money, which is just so good. Like, it's, the chance of picking up 20K is just hard to pass up. So it makes I feel a little bit less selfish when all the training I do, like if I get a bit of a payday, that can, go into our savings, and it helps. So yeah, definitely keen on the payday.
Line is your agent, I reckon.
Pretty much. May as well be.
But sorry, Craig, can I just piggyback on your question there? Because there's no time set for the Commonwealth Games, Tom, do you think like a win or a podium may be good enough to get you on that team as well at Melbourne? If the times, are 2:14, 2:13?
Who knows?
It's got to be close, doesn't it? Boys, you agree with me?
Yeah, I think we had this discussion. I think a lot of it will depend on how many guys actually get the sub 2:11:30 World Champs qualifier, because if we have more guys do that and they decide to do World Champs, that opens up, guys that run 2:13, 2:14 for Com Games. Whereas if nobody qualifies for World Champs, do they then still look at the guys that have run 2:11 previously and send them to Com Games?
Yeah.
So
I reckon we're going to see some faster times early next year. But international travel is back on the cards, and the races are starting up. They're not getting cancelled anymore. So you're going to see people go overseas for training camps and racing again.
Yeah, definitely.
And Tom, given it could be hot, are you looking at doing any sort of heat training throughout the next month?
No, I mean, apart from, actually, it was just this last week I've been up the coast at Kingscliff, which was actually ridiculously humid for the week. So it would have been pretty good, but I didn't actually get much running done. I think last week I only did 70K. So, yeah, that's it. That's my heat training done, a week of 70K.
Hey, Tom, you also talked about the half marathon as well in your introduction, 2019. You had a sprint finish with Nick Harmon, 64:29. I got a good view of it for the first 10K because you were pretty much jogging until you decided to make a good move. Any tips for the half marathon course?
No, I mean, I guess nothing specific for the half course. I mean, it's. I guess that the back end does get. I was surprised when I ran it. For some reason, I was expecting it to be a little flatter at the back end. I guess because it's supposed to be flatter than the full, but it still was a bit lumpy at the end. So I guess you still got to expect that.
You got the footbridge, don't you, to come into the MCG, which the marathon doesn't have.
That footbridge is just... is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So half has that.
Yeah, Nick got a gap. Nick got like a 20-metre gap on me on that footbridge. I thought I was done. And then, just coming off it, like I was so cooked going up that ramp. But then, I just caught him back up on the downhill. But it's nasty.
And then twists and turns, doesn't it? Like, be prepared, listeners, if you're doing the half, that you come off that footbridge and take a tight left, another tight left, and then another tight left to go into the MCG. So there's a bit of turning in that last 700, 800 metres.
Yeah.
That's where you make a move if you're going to win it like Tom.
It's a good course. It is a good course. It's it's up there. Like Sydney, Melbourne, both good courses. Like for running fast times, I think you can run relatively fast there.
Sydney? What's Sydney course?
The Blackmore is the September one, not the May one. That's hilly. That one, the September one, it's pretty good. It's pretty flat.
Yep.
Beautiful. Any other questions for Tom, fellas?
No, just good luck.
Tom, when I'm looking at this photo of you here, what were those shoes, the orange ones that you won in? Seeing you're a bit of a shoe geek, that you won in 2016. Mayflies?
Yeah. Good guess. Yeah, Mayflies.
And
I did all my racing in those.
What will be the footwear of choice this year? Have you decided yet?
That'll be Next Percent version 1.
Oh, version 1, yeah.
Going back in time.
Back in time.
The foam might be degraded.
Got the softer foam from is it Vietnam or Chinese warehouse, Tom? factory?
Chinese. I was saying the other day, actually, I feel kind of privileged to be like, because we're all in that era, right, where we've raced in these traditional flats and we've like got to experience this like ridiculous surge in footwear tech, whereas like our kids are going to be like, this is the norm, like chuck a super shoe on, this is how it should feel to race, where we know how much of a change, of a jump this has been. So I remember in that race in Melbourne Marathon, the longest I'd run in the Mayflies was a few halves, and they were fine for the half marathon. But I remember specifically in Melbourne, going through halfway mark, and just after that, my feet started to hurt. So it was like 22K, my feet were like, oh, they're getting a little bit sore now. And so, yeah, the sorest thing for me at the end of that race was like the soles of my feet and calves. Whereas now it's like pretty much just whole legs kind of locking up. It's not that, like, definitely the feet never get sore anymore with the shoes we got now.
Yeah, they should they? And that's like, were you ever considering wearing more shoe for a marathon? Like,
yeah, so I'd actually messaged Osto, the Nike rep, about getting some lunar races, which were, I think they were discontinued they were being discontinued at the time. Like, nah, I need some lunar races for the next one. But then I guess it was the next year, 2017, that the 4% came out. So I never even bothered getting a pair of the lunars. I got those the 4% like 1 week before City to Surf in 2017. I was like, yes, I'm racing in these.
There was still some question marks on the shoe early days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
About whether they were going to make any difference or anything, and how that has changed.
Yeah. It's I reckon it's a ridiculously good City to Surf shoe because you can smash the downhills. I think I was running like 230 high K pace coming down into Bondi or something. Different.
Very good, Tom. Well, thanks for your time tonight, and thanks again to the Nike Melbourne Marathon Festival. Jump on before Sunday to register your spot. And also, we'll have an exciting announcement about a special live show leading into the Melbourne Marathon with some special guests, more race day tips and advice. Keep an eye out on our social media for that stuff. Thanks, Tom, and good luck in the last 4 weeks of the preparation.
Cheers, thanks. Good luck to you too. As Craig, have you answered one of the...
Yeah, just missed it. It's just Jordan Williams wrote in an email and wants to take him in the 10K, so a big head-to-head brewing. Yeah. Who you got, Jordan Williams or Croaks?
Oh, you Croaks, definitely.
1,500 metre guy versus a marathon guy. I'd take him any day of the week as well.
Yeah, the elite guy versus the old man.
So Croaks be there. Moose be handing out gels, Tom. You need someone to give you your gels?
Handing out gels. Is he really? Yeah. I'll give you a gel. Give me a Morton.
Couple Mortons, Tommy DC.
I don't mind that.
You've been doing it for the last 10 years, Mitch. You're a real community guy at Melbourne.
I know the right spots. I know the shortcuts. I know where I can ride on the bike next to someone. And
are we allowed to take a gel from you?
You are if it's being given at an aid station.
It's stationary, isn't it? You can't be moving with them.
Well, and you've got to do it at the aid stations. You can't do it at random spots.
But I don't know, we've spoken about this previously. There's been years where people have been riding on bikes with backpacks and been able to hand them out to the elite guys.
During
the race.
While they're on in motion. Yep. No, yeah, see that's actually that shouldn't be allowed, but having someone hand a personal drink from the aid station should definitely be allowed.
I've definitely seen people been riding around on bikes.
Yeah, I know. There's been some dodgy shit go on for sure.
Can you remember when you won it, Tom? Did you have... Because I think because Melbourne Marathon maybe don't have elite athlete tables, they might give you like a bike rider, a representative who does go to every drink station and hands you your personal drinks. Is that how it works?
So I don't think that was the case that year when I did it. To be honest, I need to speak with Tim about it, but I think this year he said that we can have people giving it to us, but by the sounds of it, it's still got to be at an aid station. But that'll make it super easy because I know when I did it, I think like half of the stations where I had stuff, I couldn't find it. So one good tip for people if they're doing it, which I did before that one, was just trying the whatever product they're going to have on course. I'm not sure what they're having this year, but yeah. So just like using it in training and making sure you're all good with it, with taking it on and how it tastes and whatever. Just so on the day you don't have a surprise.
Yeah, good point. All right, mate, we'll let you enjoy your Monday night. Get back to the couch to watch a bit of Netflix. And, good luck for the next few weeks.
Cheers.
Thanks, Tom.
See you, mate.
All right, fellas. Shall we thank some Patreon supporters?
Yes.
Croaks, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I got Phil Roberts this week. Phil lives in Hilton in Western Australia. He's run 1932 for 5K, 44:21 for 10K, 3:38 for the marathon, which he did in Perth in 2019. We think he's got 3 kids, maybe in the age range of 11 to 6. Used to have a beer with a bit of salt and pepper in it, a bit like myself these days, and seems to enjoy a good jacaranda tree. So thanks for your support, Phil.
Good on you, Phil. Moose, you got a bit of grey in your beard, Croaks?
Yeah, and my hair.
Yeah, right. Start turning the cameras on.
I reckon it's a good opportunity to get rid of that hair then.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe when I race next, hey?
Good idea. Moose, who are you thanking?
I've got Liam Coughlin. So Liam's from Elwood in Victoria. He's an engineer. He's actually an Ali Pashley coach run strong athlete. He has the nickname of the Hummingbird. He ran 2:48 at Melbourne in 2019, 74 minutes at Hobart 2020, 32:38 time trial. But he's getting real fit apparently. I just asked Ali, I said, what's he going to run at Melbourne? And she said he's very smart racer. He's going to run 2:35. He's a more speed-based athlete, but he's got the mindset and the patience of a marathoner, so that will be quite good. He just did 14 days of marathon training on a treadmill due to being a close contact of a COVID case. That sucks for him. But yep, Liam's going to be there. So if you see him in the sideline, like if you're on the sideline, then shout out to Liam as he rolls past.
We actually met Liam Croaks down at Hobart that year.
Yeah,
had a few beers.
I was going to say that we had a few. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Good
Brady.
fella.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah. I do remember Liam.
When I was looking at his numbers, Moose, he strikes me as a guy who was getting real fit, and then we went into lockdown for 2 years, and he's just kept stringing the training together, ready to drop some bombs over the next 6 months. I think Ali's injured him quite a bit.
Okay. She said she's determined to work out the best way to train him without him getting injured. He can't do big volume, slow workouts all the time. He responds really well to faster stuff, but also the big, long one because it's not his strength.
You did some good homework there, Moose. I'm impressed with that.
Oh, yeah, well.
Good work, Liam.
Yeah, good.
Knows
good,
our
Liam.
athletes.
Thanks for your patronage.
Robin Jones from London in the UK. I'm going to thank you. 15:56 for 5K, 33:58 for 10, 1:13 for the half, 2:38 for the marathon at London back in 2015. Hitting some good mileage, 5,129 Ks so far this year, which is pretty impressive. Enjoys eating olives and owns a budgie, going by his Strava photos. And runs for that UK club, fellas, with the red and black horizontal stripes. Is it Serpentine? Do you know what that one is? Or Blackpool?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, didn't have that. Couldn't zoom in and see the name, but he's in that red and black club. Someone from the UK write in for me, because that's doing my head in, not knowing which one is which.
Got a budgie, does he?
Yeah, had a photo. Well, I just go off what people have photos of. So if you got photos of kids, you got kids. You got photos of budgies, you got budgies. That's how it works when I stalk you on Strava. So,
you know it was a budgie?
It's one of those ones.
Birds enough?
Yeah, it's one of those ones that, like, when you're a kid, you had a class pet, and it used to be a budgie, and it would go home to like a different person's house every weekend, like a budgie roster. You know,
that's
those
pretty
ones?
stressful on the budgie.
Yeah.
That's not real nice.
Imagine being in a classroom with 25 10-year-olds as well,
and then someone taking you home to a new environment every night.
Well, they keep it in the cage. You don't get out of the cage.
Yeah, I know, but
imagine if the house had a cat and stuff.
Yeah,
you're right. I hadn't thought
that's some bad ideas.
I hadn't thought about that, Moose. Yeah, Mrs. Holland back in grade 2, we used to have one.
Budgie's not complaining.
Yeah, well, thanks, Patreon supporters. If you find value in our podcast, feel free to support us at patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast. Bonus content there, early releases, you name it. Try to give some bonuses over there. So the next bit of the show this week, fellas, is the running news. We'll kick off with you, Croaks, New South Wales 3K champs. They had 23 races up there. They're well and truly back.
Yeah, and like I know we talk about this every year, but it's one of the best nights of racing that they put on, largely because everybody competes. Like, 3K is a distance where, like, it's short enough for juniors to be involved. The middle distance guys sort of step up a bit. The pure distance guys come down. So that's why you end up with so many people running. They had like 511, I think, entered in the 3,000 metre races. So in the women's, it started off pretty much the top four broke away pretty early. So that was Leanne Pompeani, Aynslee Van Graan, Holly Campbell, and Jayla Hancock Cameron. And then probably halfway through the race, Leanne and Aynslee sort of pulled away, and it was a battle between those two over the last lap. Leanne was able to pull away just down the home straight to win in 906.85. Aynslee was second in 907.89. Holly was third in 9:17, and Jayla was fourth in 9:24. So it was good race.
I included fourth because that was the third bronze medal for the New South Wales champs. If you're wondering what's going on there.
Yeah, because Leanne is from the ACT. Yeah.
Yep. The men's race, I watched this fascinating race actually. Kieran Tall and Joe Burgess. I think he runs the same club you do, Croaks, Sydney Uni boy. I think he had the white singlet on. They went hard from the gun, 30 seconds.
But is a Bendigo bat?
Joe Burgess.
No, Brad.
Oh yeah, this is the Winter Club. Dual registered, Croaks says, I think.
Yeah.
Stop
dual registered.
him, man.
How am I ever going to get him down to do cross country if he won't come down to Melbourne Marathon Festival, Moose?
Yeah.
How am I going to get him to do bloody 12k at Bundoora cross country in the middle of winter? But anyway. They went out hard, 30 seconds first 200, 62 seconds through the 400, and pretty much dropped the whole field. And then they kind of did 2 laps on each. One of them would go out to lane 2 and the other one would come through. And then they kind of settled a bit. I think they went through the first K in like 2:41, and then they just kind of settled into like 65s, 66s. And then JB, he dropped off a bit. And why this was happening, why they kind of settled, Craig Huffer, the Victorian, name from the past, been around for a long time, very talented guy, was very surprised to see him in this race because I hadn't heard much from him at all. Would make a good interview actually. Spent a lot of time over in the States, didn't he, training with Nick Willis and stuff in that crew. Would love to know what he's doing these days. He got back onto that pack and kind of settled in that kind of third position. JB, as I said, he dropped off, which just left the two of them there. And then it was a real game of cat and mouse. Kieran didn't really want to lead, so he'd kind of put the brakes on and then run out to lane 2. And then Craig would come through in lane 1, but didn't really want to be there as well, so he'd kind of just kind of settle and not push the pace. And why this is all happening with these two playing games out in front, you can kind of just see the stalking figure of the previous 10k Australian record holder, Ben St. Lawrence, and the pack he was in, just getting closer and closer. And they kind of started to get a bit of a sniff there, him and Luke Young. But by the time the bell kind of hit, Kieran Tall, because they ran a 67, their second last lap, Craig and Kieran, and Benny St. ran a 64, so he kind of pulled 3 seconds back into him. And then Kieran did go at the bell, strong finish, 58-second last lap, won the race in 8:05.6. Huffer was second, 8:07.6. Benny St. come home in 58 as well. So matched Kieran Tall for the last lap split to run 8:09.7, a new Australian 40-plus record. And Luke Young got that bronze medal because Craig was Victorian in 8:12. He's from Newcastle. So, interesting race. I thought they might have got in a bit of trouble there doing that, thinking that Benny might come over the top of all of them. But, it's kind of fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Enjoyed that.
Interesting when... Has Kieran Tall been under 8 minutes before?
No, this was like a 15-second PB, I think. But
3K
is a rare event to do, isn't it? Like, if you're injured or you miss one here and there, like, do you know what I mean? You don't do them that often. So he's much quicker than his previous PB.
Yeah, but I'm suggesting, like, would have been maybe a good opportunity to close hard and run under 8 minutes. Probably still would have won given he closed in 58. He obviously had a fair bit left. And
I was kind of yelling at the stream. Like, I wanted to see one of them try to rinse the other guy, like 600, 800 out, not both go for the kick finish and kind of play games. But it was a different kind of... It's very rare to see a race like that. It was fascinating to kind of watch it. Pretty unique kind of race situation. But, yeah, I'm with you. I would have liked to see him try to run sub 8 minutes. But
I guess it's a state championship, but...
He still would have won the state championship, though, because Craig was in rotation, What about your mate, though, in the 40-plus category, Croaks? 809, Benny Saint. Come home like a steam train.
Yeah, was that 202 for the last 800?
He was closing, coming hard. So that was really good. Last bit of running news was in Queensland Moose. They had their 5K championships up there.
Yes, they did. And in the open ladies, we had Brielle Erbacher. She ran 16:16, and she ran from Ringy in 16:28, with Samantha Phillips third in 16:39. And then the gents, Callum Davies won in 14:13 from Kieran Perkins, who's making a great transition from 1,500 metre swimming to running, and he's run 14:15.
You've used that joke so many times, I reckon, on the show.
I've never used it.
So you have, definitely. We thank him, I think, as a Patreon supporter once. He's a good fella too, Kieran Perkins.
Yeah. No, he's going well.
I think he's in the army or ex-military.
Is he?
Yeah. He wouldn't want to get in a fight with him. You seen how big his arms are for a distance runner? He'd knock you out. Not that I'm condoning violence at all. Don't have to email me about that joke.
Maybe that's the difference between first and second is the size of his arms and his torso. He could maybe... Oh, we don't want to talk about dropping weight on this show. Oh,
powerful, though.
We've gone too far.
That's an email coming your way.
Kieran, you're perfect as you are.
Everyone's
Beautiful
perfect.
arms.
Everyone's perfect.
We can't say someone's beautiful without calling everyone else beautiful.
Everyone's beautiful and perfect.
Aidan Hobbs, another beautiful character, was 14:15 runner. 14:15. Gee, that's a close for third there. So Aidan, he's a patron, isn't he? He ran well for that.
Big friend of the show. I reckon that's got to be close to his PB as well, Aidan's. He ran a pretty good 3. He's got good range, Aidan. Like,
he's whacking away, searching for it.
Yeah, quickly trying to get there. He's been knocked back, though.
He's improved a lot. Yeah, he's improved a lot the last few years. So, like, Aidan was the guy that 10 years ago used to rock up the city to surf in, like, a Superman outfit.
That's what I found on Google.
Yeah, and, like, just do all that sort of stuff. And so he was obviously, like, pretty naturally talented to just be able to keep up with the front guys for a while. But he certainly wasn't running the times that he's running now. So he sort of knuckled down, applied himself, and, he's running some pretty quick times the last year or two.
It's funny how that happens. Bit of consistency.
He's 35. Got a couple of kids. And he's running PBs. So that's a bit of hope for us here, fellas. Melbourne, you and I, Moose, the older we get. Yeah, his PB on here is 14:34, so he's absolutely smashed that. 8:13 for 3. Marathon 2:23 at Gold Coast. 66:26. Yeah, got some good range. That's all for news.
This week's episode is brought to you by Brooks, the running specialty brand founded over 100 years ago. Brooks are preparing to launch the 22nd edition of their best-selling model, the Adrenaline GTS 22. Landing in December, the GTS 22 features Brooks plush DNA loft cushioning, now featured throughout 100% of the midsole, making it their softest edition yet. Their tried and tested guide rail support system is integrated into the shoe to keep your knees and ankles in check, giving you the confidence of wearing a stability shoe while still enjoying a responsive ride. The Adrenaline GTS 22 lands in stores in December, but as reviewed on episode 210 of the Inside Running podcast, visit your local running specialty store or www.brooksrunning.com.au to secure your pair.
Croaks, listener question. Got a few there to choose from, mate.
Yeah, I might go the marathon one, since I was sort of gearing up to Melbourne. Hey lads, hoping you can offer some training advice. I simply cannot get through a marathon without cramping in the hamstrings at some point after 30k. This has happened at multiple marathons now. I've tried increasing my mileage, doing longer long runs and adding in more workouts, but same result. What would be your advice to an athlete going forward? For your information, I've ruled out it being an electrolyte issue. Thanks, lads. Oh, that's from Matt Billington.
Yeah, so I think Matt's now, I got to double check, but I think he's getting coached by Craig Appleby. So Craig will be able to help him out here. But we'll offer Craig some help with this one, won't we? So the initial thing for me was, you're just not conditioned enough. So you haven't done the required long runs, and maybe you haven't done the required mileage. He has, but then like Matt addresses that within his question, saying that he has done some longer long runs. I maybe wonder if he's does enough long runs in his build-up without seeing his training, because the majority of the time, like the reason why people cramp is through training that's not sufficient for the marathon. Not enough mileage, not enough long runs.
Well, if he's ruled out the electrolyte issue, it's extreme fatigue, isn't it?
It could be a biomechanical thing though that loads his hamstrings more than the rest of his body. So I guess my answer is, if you're addressing the more long runs and the more mileage, then I would look to get into the gym and do some work on those hamstrings.
Yeah. Like when I looked at this question and ruled out the electrolyte thing, I was thinking the same thing, Moose, in terms of biomechanics, and because I know Michael Roger has the same issue, and I've seen his training, and he does do long runs, does do long sessions, but I think just about every marathon he's done, he has cramping issues with his hamstring. So I'm wondering whether it is a biomechanics thing, and I don't know, probably not going to change biomechanics too much. So it's either you change your biomechanics to maybe take a little bit less strain off the hamstrings, or you strengthen up the hamstrings to a point that they can cope with the distance and the pace that you're running at for that long. Yeah,
and the other point is that this might be a pacing issue. So you mentioned fatigue. It might just be you might just be going out too hard. You might be getting your pacing all wrong. You might be overestimating your ability or your fitness, and so that will lead to things like cramping. And there's a threshold. If you do have some sort of biomechanical or strength deficiency, then the threshold might be 2 hours of running at a certain pace, and you could back that off by 3-4 seconds a K, and all of a sudden that threshold might be 2.5 hours or 3 hours, and so that's when you're it's not always about your heart that determines your marathon result. Sometimes it's about your body as well, and about the resilience factor within your muscles and tendons and everything overall, your stomach, your feet. The thing about the marathon that makes it so good is there's a heap of variables that can slow you down. It's not like a 5K where it's normally 1 or 2 variables. The marathon, you can get a blister and your day's fucked, or you can eat something and it doesn't sit properly, your day's fucked, or you go out and you run 1K that's probably too hard up a hill, then you don't realize, and all of a sudden your heart rate spikes and your day might be fucked just from that 1K.
I love that. I was just waiting for you to list off 10 things.
There's more than...
And then every time just saying, and your day's fucked, and your day's fucked.
Well, I mean, I'm listing personal experience things right now. I could keep going.
Yeah, it's good to know, though. You've got to have a lot of respect. Marathon doesn't know anything either. I like thinking about that this far out. Thanks for the question, Matt, and your Patreon support over there. Moose on the Loose, purchase of the week. Rules for Strava. What do you got?
Rules for Strava is good. Caused a bit of a stir last week. People took it a bit personal.
Bit of backlash. Yeah.
Just a bit personal, like as if I've singled someone out. And if you're feeling that way, then maybe there's a little bit of guilt attached to that, perhaps. Nah.
It was windy on the treadmill, Moose, when I put the fan on.
I did enjoy seeing everyone's descriptions describing the weather.
And I had to I did warm up one day, felt it was a bit muggy. So how are they going to know if I don't tell them that it was muggy? No one's going to know. They're going to think that my 1 second K, 1 second off per K, or my heart rate was slightly high for no reason. So I got to let them know. But no, the rules for Strava this week is nothing should go on Strava if it's not an endurance activity. I don't need to see yoga on Strava. and I don't need to see Pilates on Strava. Like, this should track, to me, this tracks endurance activity. So if you're on Zwift or something, cool, go on Strava. If you do an elliptical workout, I'm actually interested. I want to see what you're doing. But
6 hours of yoga is endurance, Moose.
all right, if you're doing endurance yoga, chuck it up there. but putting like core on Strava, like what's that about? We don't need that, do we? We want to keep Strava still, like, otherwise I'm scrolling through like for hours trying to get to the shit that I want to see.
I think it can be.
People.
I think it could be put on there, but maybe private, because you got to remember that for a lot of people, Strava is their training diary now. Like back in the day, 10 years ago, I wrote everything in a diary. And so I sort of I don't do that anymore, but Strava is now my training diary. So if I want to look back to see what I was doing like 3 years ago, it's not in a book, it's on Strava. So, you know, I don't have an issue with putting gym on there, but I probably wouldn't make it public. I'd keep it private for my own benefit of looking back of, was I doing gym when I was running well, or wasn't I doing gym, like, you know, just for those training trends.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Do we have to see it? I don't think that's the reason people put it up. They want to let us know that they're out there actively exercising and putting in the 1%ers. They need to tell people that. That's what I'm reading a bit when I see it.
Hit his email directly, guys, if you want to complain. He doesn't access the Instagram account.
But also, Moose, in a way, like you're out on the elliptical. I don't really care about that. Maybe the rule should be, if there's no GPS, if there's no map involved, if there's no GPS map, then
endurance activity. This is
do whatever you want
specifically cultivated around my.
Don't put up stuff to please anyone. Do whatever you want as an individual, I think.
Do whatever you want, but if you want to follow the rules, then these are the rules.
The rules of Moose.
The guy who doesn't upload anything to Strava, his rules.
But you know the problem with Moose's rules are that so many times over the last 4 years, Moose will have a rule this week, and in 5 months' time, he'll break his own rule, but then it's okay.
Remember when he said he didn't like heart rate data, and then like 3 weeks later he's like, I've got a heart rate monitor, I'm just doing everything by heart rate data.
I'm a bad boy. I'm a rule breaker.
You are a bad boy.
Good one. What's coming up? Oh, we've got a singlet update, Moose.
Yeah, they're at the printers.
We're going to get them.
We're looking like we're going to be good for Melbourne.
Volt yellow.
Volt yellow. We've still got some black and white ones left. Jump on board that. I think someone forgot to pay the website fees, so the website still works. We just can't access it behind the scenes at the moment. But we still get your orders come through, so they're going out. Yeah, the yellow ones, Volt yellow, will be ready. When we get a pic of them, we'll chuck it up. And then it will be like first in, best dress, like every other time. So we'll make a time and a date, and then it will go bang, and they will sell out.
Yeah,
so
not many, is there?
There's not many, and the colour is an absolute banger. And on that, if you like merch, Surf Coast Track Club has some merch, so jump on there and Instagram, check out the new kit. And then this Sunday's a group run down in Geelong. If you've got any
athletes... This is not... I've told you off air, I've got an athlete ready to go. This is not you plug whatever you want section of the show.
I'm telling people of a community group run on Sunday.
Okay,
and
hurry up.
Look, it's for everybody. I'm just saying, Bowen River.
Anyone, is it? All right.
It's for anybody. We've got a table set up. Landy Field, start at 8 o'clock, don't be late. And 5K table set up. If you want to chuck some stuff out, you can. It's just a bit of a run to prepare people for Melbourne Marathon. Hosted by Run Strong Online Coaching.
Shit, I hope someone steals your table again. Wasn't that where it got stolen last time?
No, Ali's table got stolen midway through a workout when she come round.
Drink bottles were still there, table's gone.
They're all lying on the ground like some scumbag stolen my camping table.
Imagine if that bloke knew now, like he's got the table of an Olympian, he could flog it on eBay for a fair bit of cash.
They're like $12 from Bunnings.
Yeah, but but it's not an Olympian's table if you buy it from Bunnings, is it?
Probably needs a signature across the top or something. See if you can organise that. Other thing coming up, the Real Insurance Sydney Harbour 10K and 5K December 5th. So that's going to be the return of road racing in Sydney, flat fast 10K course. Talking to my mate Wayne Larden today, who's the race director. happy to give Inside Running podcast listeners $5 off their entry if they use the code IRLegends, all capitals, IRLegends, for $5 off your entry. So if you're floating around Sydney thinking you're going to do that, make the most of that discount there.
You'll chuck a post up, will you, about that, Brady? Just
yeah,
so people know?
Yeah, we'll probably put it in the show notes as well. And then, I'll put a bit of a post out somewhere about that. We've been having him on the show twice, Slido. It's always good for an interview as well. So, yeah, good talker. And then I think we're going to throw to the Luke Mathews interview. He was on Road to Nowhere last week. I've just got to tick a couple of boxes with those guys before we put that up there. So if you hear that, it's been approved.
Well, you need their permission.
Well, because they were recording it, I thought it was, nice to ask if we could use it because, they're recording it for a different audience. So I'm like, well, can we now put this to a different audience? Are you guys okay with that? Do you know what I mean? You can't just publish stuff without asking them. And I think they want one thing removed that you might know from the start.
Oh, yeah, I remember. So I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when I listened to it. And I'm like, ooh, you guys probably don't want this to go out to our audience.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's what I also want to clarify them with that as well. So you'll hear that, hopefully. What's coming up, Croaks?
Not sure. Might go to the track tomorrow. I'll see how the leg pulls up tomorrow morning. Heading to the coast.
Wouldn't you maybe just start with some jogs, not like a track workout straight off?
Like if once it's fine,
okay.
Like I know once it's good to go. Once it's no crepitus there anymore and the tendon's not sort of touch, then it's fine. But yeah, I'll see how I go. I might just jog tomorrow if I'm not 100% confident in it. But then heading to the coast actually on Friday to go and see mum and dad. So I actually haven't been to. I haven't stayed in Mollymook for a couple of years, I reckon. So be down there.
Could you run to this one? How many Ks is it? Sunday long run there?
200k.
Oh, mostly highway too.
How far is it from the top of the mountain? You know when you go over.
Well, it's going to be probably eight. It'll be 100k still.
You should run down that. You should run over that mountain.
The Clyde Mountain.
That's a big hill.
It is a big hill. Yeah.
It'd be a good segment up there.
So 200 is probably a bit far to run there. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a few extra Ks. Moose, you've kind of given us a rundown what you're doing. Anything else that you haven't mentioned?
Back to work again, tomorrow. Go up to work. Got a workout tomorrow. Just getting back into it.
That's good. Getting fit. String those weeks together. Alrighty, long episode, but we are done. Talk to you guys again next week.
Have a good week.
Same to you, fellas. This episode of the Inside Running Podcast is brought to you by Brooks. You can feel confident wearing Brooks knowing they're running specialists with over 100 years experience in the footwear game. They test running insights and biomechanics with runners of every size, strength and experience to develop premium running products so you can run further, faster and happier.
Just show love to everyone you meet. Doesn't matter if it don't come back. Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. I keep holding on to the hope that all the suffering was for something. Something for something, something for something. When it's said and done, all your words and all your hate don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing.
But anyway, it is now the time for me to introduce our ringer friend. We put the poll out to the questions today. Luke Mathews, one of the big names in Australian running, mainly I think from his athletic ability and his really good looks. Certainly can't be for his personality. Luke, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. Big name, former big name, I think that's called. Haven't done much late.
Former, you're not done yet.
But yes, also big name. Yeah, you know what? I'll take it. Maybe former, but maybe soon to be big name again. I don't know.
Well, that's what we're all sort of hoping, Luke. I actually forgot who asked, but sorry for not naming you, but I got a message from a listener saying you should have Luke Mathews on. I'd really be interested in knowing what he's about. And then actually, I remembered your name when he said it because I sort of forgot you existed there. But no, Luke,
it's actually funny because my dad actually said that the other day too.
So Luke, tell us, what do you do? The listeners want to know what are you actually? When was the last time you raced?
Last time I raced was National Championship semi-final. Got absolutely knocked out, bundled out in the semi-finals. So national was going for my 5th national title in a row. Defending Olympic trials champion, bang, knocked out the semis. So that was my last race. I did. If I kind of go back almost 2 years, from World Champs 2019, I've raced 5 times. So 3 in the domestic seasons, one of those a big fat DNF, and then 2 at the and then 2 at the national championship. So yeah,
how'd you go at that World Champs, Luke? Just remind us.
Well, look, I don't want to big name myself too much, but I came top 40th. So yeah, 39th in the world. Thank you very much. And then what wasn't my day? I think it was. I think I got.
Were you coming off an injury there as well?
Wait, you're so joking. Affected by the heat. It was air conditioned for 22 degrees.
Nice. I always still claim that it was hot in Doha, Luke. Just pretend.
It was hot, but not in the track. It was literally hot everywhere but the track.
Yeah, you're like, I got
40 degrees in the stadium.
Sure.
Just for heat too.
You've been acclimatised to the heat. Suddenly it's too cold in there.
Maybe I went the opposite way. I was heat ready, not perfect temperature ready.
So, Luke, what are you since your last race? What's happened? Tell us.
Last race was national championships, and then I went straight over. I planned on going on just like a couple day holiday with my girlfriend to Port Douglas. And when I was there, I was pretty flat after the Olympic trials, and as I was kind of one of those points where I said, well, do I really want to get after this Olympic thing, or do I want to get my body properly right and call it a season and kind of get ready for next year? And made the decision to stay at home, get my body right with the plan to get my body 100% healthy, kind of do the tail end of the cross-country season, then kind of hit kind of the tail end of 2021 and the start of 2022, like hit the ground running. I still haven't got my body right. No, I'm still haven't quite hit the ground running.
That's right, Luke.
So what's your injury? Like injuries, I'm guessing is what's happened, or?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if tail end of 2019 and start of 2020, I tore my plantar, and I'm not quite sure if it's connected, but on the same foot, tail end of 2020, I just started getting a bit of Achilles pain, doing Ks at the TAM. So that's another hint. Avoid Ks at the TAM.
Joel was just telling us how much he loves Ks at the TAM.
Yeah, I was trying to say avoid Ks at Waverley by all means.
Maybe just avoid Ks. I don't know.
Maybe just avoid training.
or bloody do them not off 60 seconds. What? Let's do them off 90. Anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So and then I felt a little bit of Achilles pain. This would have been October 2020. Ended up being a bit of bursitis and tendinopathy. So I got a cortisone in it. Yeah, it would have been November, December, and then the plan was to kind of hit January 1 Falls Creek 2021. Just go as hard as I could, knowing that I had until April 20th or whatever it is, and then pretty much from then onwards, my bursitis went down, and then the tendinopathy kind of stayed around, and it's kind of one of those things where I'd go in and out. I was probably doing isometrics twice a day, calf strengthening, everything I could. Carried that up until nationals, and then it was kind of one of those situations, like I said, afterwards, where it was like, do I get my body right or whatever it is? So I took pretty much from nationals onwards, probably for the next month to 6 weeks, I kind of just jogged around, helped Morgan Mitchell out, paced her, and I felt like my Achilles got to a point where it was really good. And then I started to load up again. I actually hit 100 Ks, and on that Sunday run, I've pretty much finished the Sunday run limping. And then I haven't done anything since. So pretty much since then, I got another scan on it. Would have been around July. It had not that it's uncommon for distance runners. I had a little bit of a like a delamination kind of a few micro tears in there, which I think if anyone got their Achilles scanned right now, they might have that. But yeah, just had really bad tendinopathy, and not long after that, I actually got a PRP, and where I am now, I'm probably I don't know, maybe 10 or so weeks post PRP. With
platelet-rich plasma for the listeners. Is that right, Ali?
Yes.
Thanks, Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So PRP. Yeah. So they essentially like draw the blood out of you. They spin it. They get the plasma out of it, and then they kind of re-inject you to kind of promote growth and like to rehab it.
The jury's out on that sort of stuff, isn't it? I've had a few,
Yeah.
and I remember someone saying to me, "Oh, that's complete bullshit."
Yeah, well, it's like everyone that I spoke to, they pretty much said like, someone said there's no actual written evidence to prove that it does anything. It's more like theory based, and it's it worked.
I did that, Luke. I did that as part of my hair transplant, trying to get my hair to grow back. Didn't work.
Wow, the fucking jury is out.
Did you actually, Nick?
Yeah, they did it as part of the hair transplant.
Oh, that is funny.
Actually, so I thought you were taking a piss.
No, I'm serious.
I thought he was taking a piss too, Luke.
No, they did the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, a load of rubbish.
Even with those things at that point, though, when you've had so long off, were you like, I'm willing to try anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it was. So yeah, when I got that scan, actually, sorry. So if I go back, when I got that scan in July, when I kind of was limping around, realized I hadn't had it imaged in a while. After that, I took 8 to 10 weeks off, and just thinking I'll stay off it, cross train. I mean, loosely cross train. I wasn't very good at it, and I was in the middle of a lockdown. And then kind of after 10 weeks, I went and saw the doc, and he just poked around at my Achilles and kind of in the area, and he pretty much said like, yeah, like without imaging it, it hasn't really got any better. And he said, you've kind of got. He goes, I wouldn't have suggested this straight after your image, but now we're 10 weeks removed from it. Let's get a PRP. And then now I'm, probably, around 10 weeks to 3 months post PRP. Still haven't done much running. The plan is to hopefully build up in the next somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks. But I don't know. I assume if I'm running in 4 weeks' time, it'll be like minute on, minute off. So yeah, been a rough 24 months or so. But I mean, I don't know.
Well,
like
that's all right.
To have a shit year like that any year though, this has been a good time.
Yeah.
I know that's probably not like helpful at all, but there's been so many less races than normal.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, if you were to kind of look back, say in 10 years' time, and say that you only got 5 races in through 2020 and 2021, where there was COVID, an Olympics with no crowd or whatever it is, it might look good. But but missing the Olympics and essentially missing 2 seasons haven't been great. But haven't thrown in the towel yet, so I'm hoping.
Don't throw in the towel, you dickhead.
Yeah, not throwing in the towel.
You're too talented to throw in the towel. You're the only one on this show with a Com Games medal, that's for sure. And the last, we've all spoken about the last Olympics were fake Olympics anyway, right, Ali?
The last Olympics were shit, Luke. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It was a fun run, wasn't it, Ellie? Just a fun run.
Pretty much.
Is your fire in the belly still there, Luke? You driven?
Yeah, it depends if you ask me. If you asked me this morning, yes. Right now, no. No, that tomorrow morning when I wake up, knowing that I got to do 90 minutes on the watt bike, it's probably a strong no. But yeah, look, to be honest, I mean, like I bloody hate cross training. So it's and all you guys have cross trained.
It's hard. It's so hard.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
Once you get back running, like if you just progress and you're building each week and you've got a race in sight and you go to the track, you fucking towel everyone up, you'll just get the drive straight back. That fire will be as strong as ever.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's like I said, I've had let's say 2 years of kind of back-to-back stuff. I've hardly strung together more than a few months of training at a time. Even with it, when I have strung together training, it's been cross training, and then as well as that, all my cross training and kind of building back up to strength has been through lockdowns, trying to manage will this gym let me in? Will this gym let me in? I can only see my physio at this time or whatever. So
it's hard.
So yeah. It's. I think the good thing is where I'm at now. Like I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We're slowly getting out of lockdown. But yeah, I'd say look, I really do want to get back to, making teams and winning races and all that stuff again. So yeah, there is that part of me, but it's just at the same time, it's hard to see that now because I haven't ran in so long, and like I said, I'm gonna have to do 90 minutes on the watt bike tomorrow and then a gym session afterwards. So it's but like I said, but who knows? Come December, maybe I'm jogging, maybe I'll get my K's up. I'll probably be completely different. And like I said, I might get off this phone call and watch the 2018 Com Games trial 800 meters. I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's get back to that.
Get the fire back.
I'll tell you what, Luke. You've got a massive advantage over people like me. You've got a lot of talent. So, you can get there. Whereas me, I'm like, I work my ass off and I might be able to go sub 30 for 10K, that kind of thing. Whereas you're a bloody Commonwealth Games medalist. That's got to be bloody satisfying.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. It's incredibly satisfying. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, I know that I've got a lot of talent, but I've got to look at this in two ways. It's like, one, I've kind of had 2 years of no training, so it's going to be a long way back. And then it's also at the same time, it's like, do I need to actually know and kind of look at myself and ask myself, do I have that fire back? So it's kind of, I kind of got to balance both of those things. But yeah, like I said, hopefully back running in about a month's time, and, I might have a completely different answer.
Do you usually get fit pretty quickly?
It's tough because I feel like the thing that usually holds
if he stays away from Macca's, he does.
Honestly, that's pretty much what I was about to say. Like, the thing that holds me back from getting fit is usually my weight. So it's what usually happens is I'll probably get back to training in like September, October, or whatever it is, and I'll have my off season. I'll usually put on anywhere between 5 to 10 kegs, and then pretty much that tail end of the year, like, I am effing useless. Like, every time I finish the season, I'm like, let's do Bernie 10, let's do Zatopek 1500, let's do all these races. I get to like October and be like,
I'll see you in March.
I'm off to Weight Watchers. What kind of weight? What kind of weight are we talking? Give us some numbers, Lou.
So I'd say when I'm at my fittest and like peaking, I'm anywhere between probably anywhere between 69 to 70, maybe 71 or 72 for some of those early races. But I mean, like, there's been a couple off seasons where I've been close to that 80 kegs, and and like I said, I'm pretty useless. But then usually when I do those 2 Falls Creek trips, I come back, I get a race into me, and then when I start doing like that hard lactic work, kind of February, March, that's when I start kind of leaning down. And but yeah, honestly, like Joel hit the nail on the head. Like I think I actually could, if I kept my weight under control, I reckon I could get back really quickly. But yeah, I love
you also
eating
don't
food.
You also don't need to
resistance training.
You don't
carry
need
around
to
this
get
big
back.
belly.
Yeah,
you don't need. Yeah.
I suppose it's probably 2 things. It's like I think like I would like to be fit pre-Christmas, just to be open-minded to like maybe going to indoors, or like maybe doing like maybe even just doing like a world indoors, or going overseas, or whatever it might be, or even just getting in a late year road race. Like I'd love to be able to do, not saying that I'd go out and run, well, not saying that I'd go out and run like 28 minutes for 10K, but just go out and actually just test myself. But yeah, I don't know. I've always put myself on the back foot. But
have you done a 10K before?
Nah, never. Never done a 10K. I think only thing I've really done is I've done. I think the longest I've done is like 5K. That was right. I did a Christmas Day park run and I destroyed you, Nick. I remember that.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was going to say, you better not bloody show up, because I'll be in Albert Park this Christmas Day for park run. So I'll see you there.
What did you run for 5K?
I ran, I think it was 14:38.
Yeah, you and
that's pretty good.
Charlotte's partner was there, wasn't he? What's his name?
Yeah, Adam Clark. He ran out and ran 14:25. So yeah, that was 2018 Christmas Day. Perfect conditions. Downhill the whole way though. So yeah.
Oh my God. I went off with you boys wearing a Christmas hat. I got absolutely dropped. Yeah.
What a loser.
Yeah. Were you thinking like, I'm gonna rock up and win in a Christmas hat?
I thought like, I'll rock up and I'll win easily. But the year before, I think Luke was there with Smack. Was that right? Were you there the year before as well? So
the year after I went with Smack, and then a year later I think Smack ran 14:40 and I was about 14:50 or 49 or something like that.
Yeah, smoked me again. Bloody hell, ruining my Christmas.
You're both probably coming off 2 hours sleep, no doubt. Nick's had 14 hours in the sack.
I've been tapering for this race for months. It's been the goal with Christmas Day.
I think I don't know. I'd like to think that if I can get myself, if I get my body to a good level of good weight, good level of loading. I feel like I don't know. I don't want to rule out anything for next year, but I still think next year will be tough. But I don't want to rule it out because I don't know. Like I know that I can get fit. I know that like I said, I think I do have a little bit of talent on my side, and I can get fit pretty quick once I get my shit together. So
do some 10Ks, you'll drop the pounds pretty damn quick, I reckon. Get that mileage up.
This is the thing, right? This is the thing. There was periods of time where I was running like I averaged like I did March Falls Creek with Joel in 2017, and for the 4 weeks I was there, I averaged like 155 Ks for the 4 weeks. I think I put on weight.
Because you end up eating so much to try and get to recover.
Yeah.
There's not even Macca's or anything up there though.
Nah, but there is a very nice vending machine which Joel and I were
Okay.
Was Joel getting his hand in there and getting it for free? Was that what it was?
No, I'm not a tight ass like you.
This is how bad it was. We didn't have any cash, so we had to borrow $20 from Ryan Gregson.
We did, and we went down. We got I don't know what you got, Luke, but I got a whole bag of caramello koalas.
Yeah.
And we went, and I think Luke got another whole bag of, and I went and I unwrapped each of the 15 caramello koalas in that bag and ate 15 while playing Call of Duty until about 1 a.m. with Luke.
Yeah, it was.
And then we go and towel up the long run.
And then you wonder why you put on weight at Falls Creek.
No, fair enough. Yeah, but no. Honestly, I think that the biggest, like the thing that cuts the weight most for me is like hard lactic track work, like 3 to 4K worth of like reps, like no more than 800 meters, if I do like kind of 3 or 4 weeks of that, I usually slim down pretty quickly, and then just racing, because racing is, it's kind of a pretty big stress on your body, and that's what it does. But yeah,
I think also before racing, you're really sensible on what you're eating as well. So I think the more you race, the more you get in the habit.
Don't put me in that box, but yeah. No. That's actually pretty true. Like I feel like the days leading up, I am pretty good. And usually through the season, I'm pretty good. But yeah, just through the off season, I probably just enjoy myself a little bit too much, which I thought might have grown out of me as I matured, but I clearly haven't matured yet.
How old are you, Luke?
26.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting old.
You're younger than me. He's
sorry. Me and Nick are way older.
Luke, you're young next to these two prehistoric rallies. They're 50 apiece.
Luke, just one more sensible question before we do some stupid ones. What were your first thoughts when you first met Joel Tobin White?
Wait, these have all been sensible so far. Far out, okay.
Oh, yeah. No, what were your first thoughts when you first met Joel? Like, when was it?
We've known each other since we were kids. That's really hard.
Yeah, I reckon the first time I ever met Joel was I met him at, I'm going to say it was 2006 or 2007, Yarrabeen Park cross country AV race.
Oh, is this when he kissed his dad on the lips?
Oh.
No, but what I do remember was,
here we go.
It was Joel's former coach. He said because I was training with Gregor at the time. He said to Gregor, "Oh yeah, I've got this kid called Joel Tobin White. He's going to go out and win this race." And he said, and at the time I was training with Keaton Mickleborough. Do you remember him, Joel?
Yeah, I remember Keaton.
And I remember me and Keaton came first and second, and Joel came third.
Story of my life. Never live up to the hype.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, honestly, like if you kind of know Joel from the outset, you probably get the wrong impression about him. But I don't know. Me and Joel have always been drawn to each other, probably because we're both absolute wankers.
Well, how old were you then? Like 12 or something?
Yeah, we've known each other since we were kids.
Yeah, I reckon.
I've told this story before, but Luke was how if Luke didn't exist, I don't think I would be in the position I'm in now. Because I asked, Luke was, when I was in VIS with triathlon, I would see Luke in running, and I'd see Luke, in there, fucking pick up a dumbbell, walk around, talk a bit. Oh yeah, I'm just going to go out for a 15-minute jog. Oh yeah, sick. And I'm like in the swimming pool for 4 hours, on the bike for 6 hours, running, doing harder running sessions than he was. And I just looked at him one day. I went up to him. I go, Luke, help me out of this sport, mate. I'm fucking done with triathlon.
You must have looked at me and just go, mate, I'm so jealous of your 46 at the Olympics. How do I do it?
Exactly right. Get me in there. And so yeah, Luke put me in touch with Nick, and then the rest is history. So
yeah. But no, first impressions, it was, I don't know, it was like any of them. Like I've run against Joel, Stewie, Morgan McDonald's so young. You kind of meet them all when they're young kids. So it's hard to. That was the first time I ever remember like knowing who he was. But from there, we probably made cross country teams not long.
We had
after
a lot of fun times on those.
Yeah,
cross
a lot of
teams.
fun times on the cross country teams.
It's funny though, Luke, coming like into running now myself, like at an older age. A few years ago, people, because I went to triathlon for like 5-6 years, people forgot that I knew all you guys when we were kids. Yeah. Like when we were kids, we ran together the whole time. So we were sort of like, it was, even though I'm like new to running, it's like, it's what we did when we were fucking young. So.
Yeah. And growing up as well, your age group was notoriously kind of the best coming through. And you were kind of at cross country, were always like, I think you won a medal a couple of times, and you top 5s and top 10s. So you always
hop off it, mate.
Well done, John. Jeez.
I paid. Look, you guys don't know Luke's getting a bottle of wine if he talks to me up
here. First impression's always pretty good. But yeah, as you can probably tell, it was always a competition for the spotlight. But yeah,
definitely 2 attention seekers.
Joel was definitely first to grab the mic and not let go. Yeah. I got a question from one of my mates actually. Luke said, "What's the nerdiest thing, like running related thing you do that's kind of embarrassing?"
That's a good one.
I think that's pretty open ended because I just think I'm genuinely a running nerd. Like
Well, we all are.
I honestly, yeah.
Nah, but you don't expect it from Luke.
Exactly.
Luke sort of plays the cool card, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm really cool." I don't.
Because I was saying about, I got a spreadsheet with my highest ranked runs,
Oh, that's
like
so
ever.
fucked up.
Like, and then I've categorized them in years and worked out which year's been my best. You know, that's full on the nerdiest thing I do.
Stop talking, Nick. Luke's gonna leave the call.
You know this podcast is going public, yeah.
Only to about 6 people, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think nerdy. Well, yeah, I think genuinely, I am just a running nerd. Like I don't miss a race, and if I don't wake up for it, I watch every replay the next day. I think that times I can name anyone's PBs and whatever it is.
Yeah, you're really good with that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing which
what's Joel's 3K PB?
I think I'm pretty sure it's actually when he had that wild blow up at Box Hill. It was like
how the fuck do you know that? It wasn't 750. It was 8. Luke.
He wishes it was 750.
Shut up, Luke. Shut up.
Was that is your PB, yeah?
I think so. Yeah, it is. No, I know so. It is. Yeah.
What's Nick L's marathon PB?
Is it 2:14?
Yeah,
he's good.
Well done.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, well done. What's Ellie's 10K PB, Luke?
It was what you ran at Doha. 30. Oh, fuck, I don't know. 31:10 maybe.
Oh, nah. 31:18. Close.
That's close, though. Good
That's
effort.
impressive, yeah.
Luke, you've just told us your nerdiest thing, I think.
I've got something nerdier, which I'm proud of, but also people think it's weird. I'd say it's probably dropped off a little bit in the like super spike era, and specifically with marathons because there's so many different marathon shoes going around at the moment. But I'm really good at naming what people wore in like specific races.
Really?
Nerd.
I'd say my strength was probably up until maybe like 18 or 19, like 2018 or 2019. But yeah, just like I could if someone like named a race, I could almost like say someone in it with their spike, the color, and you know like what brand, like what make of that brand or whatever it is. Yeah.
What was Joel wearing for his 802?
Julian would love that.
Yeah, it sounds like you and Julian get along well.
Yeah. You wearing the dragonflies?
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit boring now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit easy actually.
Dragonflies.
No, but see, like back in the day, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, dragonfly. But back in the day, like, say when there was like the Victory 2s versus the Victory Elites, the Victory OGs, I could do like color, you know, what color flywire, all that shit. Whereas now,
what kit was I wearing at Maragami when I ran the halftime?
Oh no, I got that one. That was Brooks Beast with the Nike 4% Originals.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking good. He's so good. That's really good, Luke.
Yeah, I was actually having this conversation with Sean Whip a little while ago, and he's like, you wouldn't think of it. Luke's a fucking little running nerd.
and that's coming from and that's probably coming from the biggest running nerd in the Southern Hemisphere, Sean Whip. Yeah, no, pretty good with my spikes. So that's probably spikes is probably my nerdiest thing. But yeah, within the super shoe era, it's kind of lost all creativity because literally everyone's wearing the same thing now. Yeah.
I think marathon shoes are now varied, but yeah, the dragonflies dominate any track race of above 3K or whatever. Yeah. That's interesting.
That's really good, Luke.
Yeah.
Thanks. Who's your coach now?
Yeah, so I changed over in June to Ronaldo.
Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, that was being you.
Sorry, that was Ronaldo. If anyone missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was one of those things because it just got to the point where Mum and I kind of sat down, and I honestly think that Mum is she's a great coach. She was honestly probably in terms of like programming, like probably the perfect person for me. And in that being said, we didn't get everything perfect, but yeah, we just kind of sat down and we just realized that it was probably having an effect on our mother-son relationship. And she kind of said to me, like, I think you should maybe have a look at other coaches. And I was kind of hesitant to start. I was like, no way. Like, I've still got stones like left up, like stones unturned, in like with you. Like, I still want to achieve things. And then I kind of sat on it for a few days, and I just thought, yeah, like honestly, it probably makes sense. And it was kind of one of those situations as well where I probably needed to get it because I was dealing with injuries and I was dealing with a bit of lack of motivation. I probably had to the biggest thing was finding a coach that I trusted, and then at the same time having a group around me. And I mean, besides MTC, Justin was kind of the only one. I mean, I could have maybe gone to ACT, but obviously didn't want to move out of Melbourne. So the only one that made sense was Rinaldi's. But at the same time, he was probably one of the coaches that I respected most in Australia. So it made the most sense. But yeah, when it happened, I was doing like 50 Ks a week. It happened like just before the Olympics, and like, I don't know. I think Mum was like, you should do an Instagram post, and I was like, realistically, my season's best is 148. Like, people are like, Stewie like had just ran 329. Like, it's just drawing attention to me for all the wrong reasons, which is actually very mature for me to say, because I always like the attention on me.
Yeah, I would have thought you. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do a little picture like when Peter Bowl finished, in the final. You just do a little screenshot in the corner of him and go, and I'm joining the group, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, like, oh, congrats on my new training partner. Also, I joined a new group.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly, that was the reason. I just felt like I had no runs on the board, and I felt like I would have just drawn attention away from the people that are actually doing things in the sport. So yeah, it was pretty discreet. But then I think I got mentioned on Inside Running, and then everyone kind of knew about it. But yeah, now it's just a thing. But since I've been with Justin, I probably only got about 4 weeks of actual running in, and since then he's been my watt bike coach and elliptical coach. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to getting fit, and
it'll be exciting when you and Peter are like full fitness. I reckon there's something really cool to be said about like two of the best guys in your sport in the country running under the same coach. And it's like,
I would love to see battles a couple of years ago as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we've had some good battles, and actually,
is Joe Deng still in the group?
Yeah, he's still in the group. I just think I think he's just kind of working out where he is at the moment, like whether he's in the sport. No, I don't. This is kind of just from what I've heard. But yeah, with that Peter Bowl thing, I was actually gutted because Deng or Bowl. Well, technically Deng hasn't yet, but Bowl hadn't beaten me ever until this year, so he bloody got me in my week here. So I like
he's had quite a year, to be fair.
You should have added that to your post. This guy's only beat me once.
It's not about me, but just saying.
Yeah, but actually going back to what Joel said before, like there's something is like impressive, incredible, even like a good story about like, training with the best people. Like I remember when I was a part of Nick, like I was training with Ryan. We were like literally like killing each other in training, like slogging, like doing thresholds, hard sessions, hills, whatever it was. And then we were doing it for each other's benefit. And then we'd get and then we'd literally go to the race together and be like, all right, F you, I'm going to F and beat you now. And you look at the groups around the world, like realistically, in a lot of situations, the best athletes train together. So, but yeah, like I don't know, like it's hard to think that. Yeah, I'm so far off it right now. I've got a long way to go until I'm back to there. But hopefully, once I'm back.
And will this be kind of? Oh, sorry.
No. I was pretty much there. Yeah,
I was going to say, will this be kind of different to, like, obviously with MTC, you do quite high volume sort of training, probably for an 800 meter runner. And then Rinaldi's lots of speed work, kind of lower mileage, isn't it? And then was your mum like somewhere in the middle, or?
Yeah, well, I think like, you know, I can't disregard the fact that when I was with Nick, like the thing that made me kind of, you know, get better in leaps and bounds and make an Olympics, you know, qualify like 12 months after I joined Nick, was that high volume and a lot of aerobic work. So, yeah, with mum, I'd say probably with mum, we probably just made our Saturdays more speed specific, and then kind of Tuesdays. You know, Tuesdays I was kind of like on the back of like Robbo and Collis and stuff like that. So we probably weren't. Tuesdays was still kind of that like 7 to 8K worth of aerobic work, but maybe not as quick and not as intense and maybe more recovery. But yeah, it's honestly, it's going to be hard to. I can't really specifically say what'll happen with Justin, because I think Justin's known me since I was a young kid. Like, I think he knows what makes me tick. He's seen all the sessions that I've done with Nick, with mum, and what's made me work. But I also have to accept the fact that, you know, I'm kind of in my peak, I'm running 140 Ks, 3 sessions and a long run. Realistically, with this, you know, with Achilles and kind of ongoing injuries, you know, maybe I might not be able to even crack 100, and I'll have to do, you know, less volume, more cross training. Maybe I have to do more speed work because my body won't be able to handle it. So it's going to be a bit of some moving pieces going forward. But yeah, I've got full confidence that Justin will be able to work it out for me.
Yeah, great
Awesome,
start.
Luke.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
Very
very
exciting.
exciting. We'll be watching with definitely a lot of interest.
I'll be honest. I had zero interest in you before you came on, Luke, and now I'm bloody right behind you.
Well, I was just like the
really
dickhead that beats me on Christmas Day. Now I'm kind of on your side. You've done well.
I think that without pumping your tires up too much, I reckon that's one of the best interviews we've had. So thank you very much, and fuck off.
And to be honest, Joel, pre and post interview, I actually still don't care much about it.
Get him off.
Oh, fucking hell.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
Luke.
Luke.
Well,
Thanks,
All right,
Luke.
guys.
Good
Thanks
luck.
for having me on. See ya.
Good luck.
See you later.